Jello Beats, holla at me.
Woke up and just felt right. Phone blown like a tailpipe. Today's schedule.
What's up, guys? I just got done with my morning cardio. You know, it's Sunday. It's not really a stressful day as it is. It's just a day to pretty much just get ready for the rest of the week. Today I usually just, I hit my cardio in the morning and then I just spend the rest of the day just getting prepared. I do my meal prep, go around shopping, get some extra stuff if I need, get my supplements in order, have all my food ready to go for the week. It's a rest day, relax. You don't have to hit cardio if you don't want to, but, I'm shredding now and I'm just, I'm in the mood to just get that super shred look. And I want to, as I said, I want to get down to 6% body fat. So I got to hit that cardio. Every day, 2 times a day during the week. And then on weekends, I do it once. Just about 20 minutes per session. That's it. That's really all you need. And it's interval training that I do. Studies have actually shown that when you do interval training 2 times a day for the same approximate amount of time, you actually gain a lot more results with post-exercise oxygen consumption, the afterburn effect. You pretty much, you're elevating your metabolism to a much higher level, to get your body back into a resting state. That's what post-exercise oxygen consumption does, and that's why we do this anaerobic cardio training, because it really gets you up to that level. Plus the weight training, that's a form of anaerobic training. So it's really intense stuff, really intense stuff. Really good way to shock your body into making those changes. I want to take this time to actually go over program design. Actually, the reason why I've designed my program the way that I've designed my program, there's actually a principle called GAS. I'm sure, if you've taken psychology classes or anything, you've heard that before. The general adaptation syndrome. Basically, the general adaptation syndrome states the reason for why we pretty much have to change our routines every, say 2 to 4 weeks. GAS actually uses several different, principles to explain how to deal with stress that's placed on our body. You see, and it's not really a bad kind of stress. Working out can be a good stress. It's a stress reliever. When you come to the gym, you work out, or even when you're at home, if you go to the track, maybe running around, jogging, doing your morning run, it's a stress reliever. It really increases your levels of endorphins. It gets you excited, and it makes you happy. You focus on nothing but working out. It just improves your mood, I guess. Basically, GAS is divided up into 3 phases. You've got the alarm reaction phase, you've got the adaptation phase, and then you've got finally the exhaustion phase. What we want to do when we're working out is stay in those first 2 phases, the alarm phase and the adaptation phase. We don't want to get to the exhaustion phase, because that means you're overtraining, okay? Alarm phase is basically where you're just starting a workout regimen. It takes usually about 2 to 4 weeks. During this phase, that's where your body is adjusting, to this change in stress levels, to this new stress that's being placed on the body, this new stimulus. That's where your body is trying to make these changes, change up the routine every 3 to 4 weeks, because that's just, that's how you're gonna make, that's how you're gonna fluctuate your metabolism, and keep it elevated eventually. Keep it elevated, especially when you do anaerobic style training. You're gonna keep your metabolism elevated throughout the day. You're gonna keep burning calories throughout the day, whether you're sitting, or sleeping. You'll be just burning calories. The more active you are, though, the more calories you're gonna end up burning throughout the day. So that's why anaerobic activity, that intense, high intensity interval training type of cardio, or even if you do it with weight training, it's so beneficial to your body, because you're gonna be burning calories throughout the day. Your metabolism is gonna be so high, and you're just gonna make more results that way. So especially when you're shredding, when you're trying to lose fat, it's very effective to do interval training. Final phase that you don't want to get to is the exhaustion phase. This is basically the phase where you're overtraining. Okay, you're going to the gym maybe 7 days a week, working out twice a day maybe, doing the same stuff over and over and over again. You're not changing up the workouts. Maybe you've hit a plateau, or maybe you are, but you're just doing too much. That's overtraining, and you're gonna mess your body up that way. It's, instead of changing it up in a good way, you're gonna be more, you're gonna just cause more damage to your body. You're gonna be more prone to injuries, poor posture, that kind of stuff, poor neuromuscular efficiency, and that's not what you want to have. You don't want to have that at all. So try to avoid getting to that level of exhaustion. That's what we call the exhaustion phase. Avoid overtraining, avoid getting there. We want to stay in the alarm and adaptation phases. Change up your routine every 4 weeks, do something different, avoid hitting a plateau, and just keep working hard. That's how you do it. We have to change up our routine, every so often, because we don't want to stick to the same thing. That's the only way our body is going to change, by bringing about a new stimulus. When you're trying to bulk up, and you're trying to build more muscle, say you're trying to gain size or strength, or size and strength, you would do strength training, and then you would do hypertrophy training. You would go back and forth, and pretty much interval between both of those, between a strength phase and a hypertrophy phase, or you could do maybe an undulating model where you would do like hypertrophy days during the week, or strength training days during the week, maybe 3 strength days a week and 3 hypertrophy days a week, and then rest up for about 2 days or a day. It's very, very vital that you know how to plan your workouts during the week, and that you find the time to rest, because your body needs rest, your body needs recovery, and you need to grow. The way you would actually help out in growing muscle and getting stronger is through progressive overload. Every time, say every 2 weeks, maybe you're gonna move your weight up to heavier weight. Okay, every time you feel you're getting stronger, just go heavier and heavier and heavier, so you could get those reps in about 4 to 6 reps. Try to get a weight that could get you that amount of reps in, so you could hit 4 to 6 reps in failure. That's how you're going to be able to build that strength and that hypertrophy. You're going to cause that cellular damage and that muscle tissue damage, and it's going to be enough to bring about those physical and physiological changes, the increase in muscle tissue, the increase in muscle fibers, and the increase in overall force production, strength. And it really helps out with power training later on as well. This is why we divide up our program like this. We do endurance first, and then strength, and then hypertrophy, and you would do max strength and power. We have all these different types of phases, but it's all a process. When you first start lifting, you can't just jump right into the heavy stuff. No. The right way to do it would be to build endurance first. Start with the light weights, build up enough stamina in your muscles. Say go about 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps maybe, even 8 to 12, with a slow and controlled tempo. As we said, eccentric contraction is where you make the most amount of damage, as I showed in my shoulder press workout this past week when I was hitting shoulders. Eccentric contraction is where that muscle tissue gets the most damage, and so your muscle's going to grow more. You're going to make more results in that way, and you're going to build more endurance. And the more endurance you have in your muscles, the better off you're going to be when you go into strength training and when you lift that heavier weight. Because when you lift the heavier weight, you're going 4 to 6 reps, you want to make sure that you have enough endurance, that you have enough stamina built up in your muscles. This way, you'll be able to lift that heavier weight with no problem, And as I said, it's all about progressive overload. You increase the weight every week or every 2 weeks. You know, every time you feel that your body is adapting to that change, you want to change up the weight. You want to change up the stimulus that's being placed in your body. You want to increase it, you know, to a way that it's going to force your body to change and to make those physical changes to your body. You know, you'll be getting those strength gains, those size gains. You'll be noticing those changes when you change up your routine, when you change up the stimulus. You know, that's basically what you got to do. I hope you learned something. I hope y'all enjoyed listening to whatever I had to say. It's important stuff, and you guys try to implement this stuff into your own workouts regimens, into your own, even your nutrition plans. You know, try to create a good program for yourselves. You know, watch me as I complete my summer shred. You know, we already finished week 1. We're hitting week 2 starting tomorrow. It's Monday. We're gonna hit chest and triceps. Every week is a step closer to achieving. Actually, every day is a step closer to achieving your goals. And you know, if you guys have goals, you guys have dreams, things that you want to accomplish in life, don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it. You know, if they do, you take that as motivation. You take that as a way to fuel yourself, to fuel your motivation, to prove those people wrong. You know, people tell you you can't do it. Because who are they to tell you? They're not you. You know, you're you, and you're doing this for yourself and to benefit others as well. You know, but don't let other people take advantage of you. Don't ever let other people take advantage of you. You know, you guys go out there, do what you love doing, do your best, and yeah, don't give up. Don't give up, guys. I hope that I can inspire a lot of people during this summer shred. I want you guys to really learn something, and I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna do my thing, and I'm gonna do my best, and let's hope that we get through it. So I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.